Namaste and welcome everyone to the Distance Learning Center of West Montessori Elementary School. I am Ranjan Dakal. Now in previous classes I discussed about some basic terms that is used in chapter light of year 7. We talked about reflection and refraction and the ray diagram or characteristics of image formed by a plane mirror. Now today I'm continuing with the topic reflecting telescope. How does it work and how is it different from refracting telescope? Now when we have to know the reflecting telescope means the word reflecting is used here. That means this telescope uses the property of reflection. A plane mirror is used, actually two plane mirrors is used. Now this is a very simple reflecting telescope. This eyepiece from where we view the image. This is a narrow tube, stand, and there is a presence of plane mirror inside. Let's move to the history. Now the history of telescope, it's that what refracting telescopes were into existence first, but refracting telescopes they use as a lens, because lens follow the reflection processes, refraction of light. Now but there were problems in case of lens. Now those common problems were defect in the lens, bubbles in the lens, and that means the image wouldn't be clear. Furthermore, lenses are expensive, and now people they were looking after the solutions of those problems so that they could look into the sky. And telescopes that with a mirror was first used in 17th century. Now the first man who worked with mirrors in telescope, he was Robert Hooke, but Sir Isaac Newton has been credited with the first practical scope design. And in the first stages there were problems with the metals used in that reflecting telescope, and finally in 19th century problem was solved by using silver coated mirror, and after 1 century in 20th century again with the aluminum, and finally the astronomers they have a first choice of selecting telescope, that is reflecting telescope over refracting telescope, to solve the problems that they were having with the refracting telescope. Now when we move to working of a reflecting telescope, now what is this? Let's move with a ray diagram. Now actually here this is inside the tube of a reflecting telescope. Now on the right side of your screen we can see the incoming light. There are two rays of incoming light. Actually there are many rays of incoming light. These rays they are parallel because the rays are coming from infinity. Telescopes are used to view the distant object, the object very far from us. That means those rays coming from infinity very far from us, they are parallel rays. And from many rays we'll just take two rays, because two rays are enough to show the formation of a image. These two rays they get inside the tubes, and inside the tube there is a primary mirror which is nearly equal to the size of tube, and those two rays strikes the primary mirror and they are reflected back. Look, mirror, plane mirror, it uses the property of reflection. That is why it is a reflecting telescope. Now it returns back to the same medium, and now there is a secondary mirror, that is a second plane mirror, kept in such a way that those reflected mirror they will meet this secondary mirror at a making 45 degree of angle, because this secondary mirror they are inclined at an angle of 45 degree. Though it's not in the figure, we have to know the fact that they are inclined at an angle of 45 degree inside the tube, and they are in between and do not block these incoming light. Look, this incoming light the light that strikes the primary mirror, they are not blocked by secondary mirror because it is small, and this secondary mirror is kept in such a way that the light ray reflected from the primary mirror strikes there, and they finally form a image at this point. Image at this point, we can see the image crossings, and just above these points there is an eyepiece. Normally this eyepiece is of a convex lens, and we can see the object, we can see the image of the object actually using this eyepiece. Now, why are reflecting telescopes used instead of refracting? Because they are cheap. Refracting telescope, they uses lens, and lens are expensive in comparison to mirror. Since the mirror are cheaper, reflecting telescopes will be used wisely. Next one is this primary mirror. This primary mirror, its aperture is very high. Its focal length is also high, so that it can cover much amount of light, more amount of light coming from the far object. That's why the gathering power of reflecting telescope is high, because the mirror of large aperture is used. It has a large aperture, gathering power is high. That means if the more the gathering power is, the clearer the image is. And the mirror used in reflecting telescope has high aperture, that is high gathering power of light ray coming from infinity. That means we will have a very clear image, and that is why this reflecting telescopes is used. Furthermore, in refracting telescope there are many problems while using lenses. There is a defect in lens, there may be the presence of bubbles. To correct that factors, reflecting telescopes are wisely used now. I hope we are clear with the concept of reflecting telescopes. Now let me summarize again about reflecting telescope. Telescope instrument that is actually optical instrument that uses light. Optical instrument that is used to view the distant object. Two types: reflecting telescope, refracting telescope. Reflecting follows laws of reflection, refracting follows laws of refraction. Refracting telescope is also known as Newtonian telescope. Why Newtonian? Because he was given he was the one who was given with the credit for development of the reflecting telescope. Though the one who created first was Robert Hooke. Now, and there were problem in lenses. That's why reflecting telescopes were widely used after 20th century. Now, the aperture of plane mirror kept inside the tube. It has a very large aperture, so that most of the incoming light they get inside and they reflected back, and they reflect back such that they strikes a secondary mirror, and these reflected ray again gets reflected in secondary mirror to form an image. This image is viewed using a eyepiece made up of a convex lens. Okay, now thank you for joining us. In next video I'll share some more interesting facts about science in our science class. Till then, I hope you all will stay safe. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a great time ahead.